Hello and welcome to my channel, Judy's Creations in Crochet. Today is July the 14th, 2022. And for those of you that have not been here before, I'm coming to you from southwestern Ontario in Canada. I'm just an hour in two different directions from the American border of Michigan. So today, the focus of our time together is going to be on items, pictures that you, my viewers, have sent me. And I've been really excited to do this episode. And it turns out that about, I don't know, 8 or 9 of you have sent me videos to show. And you didn't just send one, you sent multiple pictures. So I'm really excited to share this with you. But just before we get started with all the pictures, I need to send out an apology to Angela. Angela is a YouTube creator, and she has a channel called My Secret Yarnery. And I meant, sorry, my precious, I did it again, My Precious Yarnery. I said the wrong one last week, and she was so kind to give me a shout out on her channel that I really wanted to correct the mistake. So, Angela, I apologize. And why don't the rest of you hop on over after you're done this video to check out Angela at My Precious Yarnery and show her a little love as well. She's a fairly new channel as well. She's been going longer than me, I think, but she's still fairly new. And she is in Ontario as well. She's about, maybe 2.5 hours up the road from me. So please check her out, and thank you very much, Angela. I do appreciate it, and I apologize for the mistake. So let's get right into the pictures. This is the finished object part of my video today. So I'm not sure what side it's going to be on. I've tried to figure it out. I'm going to, I think, split the screen, and hopefully it'll work. And I planned this out a couple days ago, and I hope I have good recall of all the pictures that I looked at. So we're going to start with this Afghan. It's called Comfy Afghan, I believe, from Yarnspirations. And this was sent to me by Susan. And she sent it to me at the time I did my Spring Yarny YouTube hop, but it came in a little too late for me to include in my video for that particular season. So I want to thank you, Susan, for sending me this picture, this very bright, cheerful Afghan. Now, I had an email from another Susan, definitely different emails, but I'm wondering, sometimes we have more than one email address, so I don't know if this is the same Susan or not. If you are, great. If not, that's fine too. But this Susan I know is from Vancouver, and she sent me pictures of a pair of scarves, we will call them. They are actually the what do you call them? Boomerang shawls or scarves from CJ Brady. And I believe that she saw this designer after I did an episode focusing on her patterns. So I believe the one on the top, the two pictures are together, both pink. The one on the top is Be Like a Sunflower, and she used Lion Brand Tribou for that one. And the one on the bottom is Flowers of Thought, and she used Hobie Dream Color. Now I have 3 yarns mentioned here. Anyhow, I think she used Hobie's Dream Color, but I won't swear to that. Anyway, both of the patterns are by CJ Brady. I will just put a link because I'm going to show you other CJ Brady patterns as we go. I'm just going to put a link to CJ Brady on Ravelry. She's also on Etsy, but I'll just put the one to Ravelry if you want to check out more of her patterns. Now, this next one has a very interesting story behind it. These pictures, and I'm going to show you a series of pictures. These are not all the pictures she sent me, but it's about 4 of them. I think there were about 8 pictures. The first picture shows the whole group and then some of the individuals. These pictures are from Cindy, and it's an interesting story. Cindy sent me an email way back soon, a little while after I did the episode on loveys. And seeing my loveys gave her the inspiration to make these blankets that she puts the animal in. And then she donates them to an orphanage where she lives. And that's another interesting thing. Susan, until about a year ago, lived in London. Not that she's always lived in London, but she was in London, Ontario, which is a little over an hour, almost an hour and a half away from me. And she'd been living there, but was having some real health issues. I'm not going to go into the whole story. That's her story. But because of her health issues, she and her husband did some research and decided to move to Costa Rica. So they have been there living for the last year, and she's been getting help with her health issues and is doing much, much better. And I'm glad to hear that, Cindy. And while there, has been crocheting and donating to an orphanage in the area. And so you've seen a series of pictures. They may have been over here. I'm not too sure where they were. You've seen a series of pictures that she has made to donate these blankets to the young children in the orphanage using my lovey idea. So what a wonderful thing to be doing, Cindy. And they are all, each and every one of them, as adorable as can be. I tried to show some of the ones that I like the colors better. Next, next I have some scarves from Patricia. Now, after I did a scarf using a pattern called Fields of Provence, she liked the pattern so well and also had a green yarn and decided to use that green to make the Fields of Provence. And then she sends me another picture of an asymmetrical shawl that I believe she said she got from Yarnspiration. And if my notes are correct, there is a third one that's a multicolored scarf, and I don't really know. It might be the asymmetrical is the multicolored scarf, but I think there are 2 different ones. And then after doing the episode on CJ Brady, she got in touch with me and said she had a very special friend she wanted to make something for, and she had bought the perfect yarn for her because it had pinks and grays and her friend's favorite colors, and she wanted some help in choosing a pattern. Well, I gave her a few suggestions. I wasn't going to make the decision, and in the end she made this special shawl or scarf, whatever you want to call it, from a CJ Brady pattern called Soul Flower. And I think it turned out lovely. Very nice gift for your friend Patricia. And then Patricia also has for me a shawl she wanted me to show. And I think you recognize this. And this is the Granny Meets Virus shawl. One of my favorite. It's in my top 5 favorites. And it looks very nice. And of course, it's in some of my favorite colors. Now, next, I have several pictures of items made by Bonnie. And Bonnie is a friend of mine here in town. And the first one I'm going to show you is a poncho. Now, she took my idea. If you go back to my poncho video, one of the times I was talking about ponchos, and I had the two pieces of paper that I taped together. They're two rectangles that go together, you know, in a certain way to make a poncho. Well, she took that idea. She got some yarn from, I believe, that came from Len's Mills, and she joined them and she went around it, a border. But you can also see that she has added, by just going basically straight up, making it more circular and going straight up, she has added a cowl to it, which is a great idea, especially if you're going to wear this into the quite cool weather. And next, Bonnie took, this one came before, but I don't have them in the right order. Next, Bonnie took my idea for a Ruana. I don't know if you remember, but I showed you 2 or 3 Ruanas that I made. And the very first one I made was from a pattern from Candy, who has a site, a YouTube channel called Blue Eyed Style. Candy is in Vancouver, in the Okanagan Valley. I've always wanted to live there. And she took that Ruana pattern and she remade it because she liked what she saw on mine. But what she did instead was to use shawl in the ball, which is lighter than what I had used. And you can see that she's closed the sides and added in sleeves on both sides. She wanted to make it into more like a kimono so she could wear it around the house in the evenings, I guess, like a lounging item. And did a very nice job. Of course, Shawl the Ball is sparkling, and the picture doesn't do it justice because you can't see the sparkle. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is show you a summer sweater from Bonnie, and I'm going to put in an apology here because Bonnie sent this to me to show in my summer Yarny YouTube pop. And I showed a sweater saying Bonnie sent it, and it wasn't Bonnie's sweater. It was a sweater from Agnes. We'll see more from Agnes a little bit later. So I didn't show her sweater during the Summer Yarny YouTube Hop, so I thought I better get it in here so she knows that I did get the picture. And I apologize to both Bonnie and to Agnes for that mix-up. Now, Bonnie says the pattern is just something she found on YouTube and followed, and she used some Caron cotton cakes. So a good use for Caron cotton cakes. Now, the next thing from Bonnie is this cardigan. And I have to apologize. This picture does not do it justice. Bonnie actually was wearing it one day to a class, one of our classes, and I was really, really impressed because she made all of the granny squares, and as I recall, they are a lighter blue. I think they vary in color. They're very pretty squares. They're very dull in this picture. And then she took all the granny squares, as you can see, and she put them together in the bottom half, and then they are joined with a cream, and she has finished the top. She designed it herself, making the placard to go up the front and around her neck and filling in all of the top so that it fit her. She did a great job. I don't know that I would have the courage to do all of that to put together this cardigan. So I think you did a great job accomplishing that, Bonnie. So a number of things she has made and shared with us. So next, I will feature Agnes, and right off the bat, I'm going to show the picture that she did that was Agnes's sweater, and I showed it saying it was Bonnie's. Next, you see a picture here, and I'm almost positive that it is the pattern called Prolongation, and it is an Expression Fiber Arts pattern. It's actually a pattern I myself have done. I did it in a cowl with EFA. I don't know if Agnes participated in the cowl or not, but she says she used a Stenley yarn that had sparkle in it, not one of the cones, not one of the color changing ones. I forget the name. I didn't write it down, unfortunately. And next from Agnes, we have a cocoon. She says she used my ideas from the cocoon cardigan and another pattern called Habitat cardigan, and she kind of put them together to come up with the picture that I'm showing you now. Next, I'm moving on to Hannah. And Hannah had quite a few hats that she showed me from, and I posted them in my Summer Yarny YouTube hop. That now I want to show you, when she sent those, she sent this picture of the Flower Valley shawl. And this Flower Valley shawl was done as a cowl on Reggie's channel, J Hook Crochet. And it is a pattern by Sis Homemade. And Hannah says she used a Hobie Cotton Kings cone for this particular one. You can't see the busyness of the pattern with it all folded up, but it's a very well-known pattern. You can check it out. It would be on Ravelry. And then she sent me this picture of a dream catcher, or some call it a mandala. It is mandala pattern, and it's done with the mini skeins. She said it was done with the mini skeins from Reggie's advent calendar, so she must have picked out the solid ones to put in this. Anyway, I just love this dream catcher or mandala. I've been wanting to do a mandala for quite a little while. I asked her how big it was, and I'm going by memory because I forgot to write this down, but I think maybe she said it was around 12 inches. Anyway, see, she obviously has color control for each circle going around, and I really like it, and it has sent me off looking for dream catchers and mandalas. I think I'm going to put that on my Make 9 for 2023. I really would like to make one. Not a real huge one, but a small one I could hang on my wall. And finally, from Hannah, we have a shawl, and this is a J Hook Crochet shawl. I've made one, and I've shown you this shawl myself, and it's called the Asgard shawl. And she's done it in a rainbow color. Mine was done in, well, I did two of them, and both of them were done with Lion Brand mandalas. The second one was browns and goldies, kind of. Next we have some patterns from Carrie. And once again, Carrie is a follower from Ontario. She lives just north of Toronto, if I recall correctly. It's amazing how many Ontario and Canadian followers that I have, but particularly Ontario. So first of all, we see the Zerzura shawl from Reggie. And this will look familiar to you because I have done three of them. And I did one in the Christmas greens and reds. I did one in a peachy pale green. And I did one in a blue and white, all back around Christmas time. Carrie says she's done this Zazura shawl in a merino and silk yarn that she got from Knit Crate. And then she sent me a series of pictures just last week. Carrie actually has bunnies, real live bunnies. Do I recall correctly, Carrie? You told me you have 3. Anyway, she is into bunnies, and she does some amigurumi. So first of all, we're going to see a couple of amigurumi bunnies. And then we get an amigurumi mouse. Isn't he just the cutest little thing? And then next, maybe she made this for a son, I'm not sure. But next she's made a mouse hat. Isn't that neat? I'm sure whoever got it just adored it. And now we have a GraphGAN. I don't know, Carrie. I don't think I would ever have the patience to do a GraphGAN. Obviously, your family is followers of the Packers. And to me, it's too many different yarns, too many colors to be bothered with, but you certainly did a wonderful job with it. And next, we have a shawl. I think she said the name was Splendid. I'm not sure if I was reading it correctly, but it is a pattern by Nastasia, and she also is on YouTube, so you can find her. And she says it's sort of a basic corner to corner using triple crochets. And it goes, she only did half of it. She stopped without making a square. And she said she used It's a Wrap Sparkle for this shawl. Again, another lovely shawl. You know how I love shawls. And finally, we have some submissions from Debbie. And the first shawl that I'm going to show you from Debbie is from Ursula. I wish I could remember Ursula's channel name. I know who she is, and she's in South Africa. She's on Reggie's a lot. Anyway, doesn't come to me. If I find it, I'll put it on the screen. And this shawl is called Count Your Blessings. A number of people have done it. Then she sent me a number of hats, but I showed her hats in my Summer Yarny YouTube, and I don't recall. I think I might have shown this messy bun hat, but her granddaughter is so adorable, I thought I'd flash the picture up one more time. Then she did a mosaic blanket. Again, a mosaic. I don't know if this is something I would ever contemplate on my own. And I think it's called the Cottage Core Mosaic, and the designer is Marissa Tetmeyer. That's what my notes say. And then we're going to finish up with Debbie with another mandala, and this is called the Easy Breezy Mandala. So, don't I have such talented followers? Did you enjoy seeing their pictures? If so, let me know in the comments below. And maybe this will encourage some of you to be sending me pictures in the future. I will definitely do another episode sometime in the fall, so that gives you plenty of time to be making things to submit. And keep in mind, excuse me, keep in mind, I will be doing the fall Yarny YouTube hop, and I like to show items when I do that video of things you have made. So if you're going to make some fall things before the middle of September and want to show a couple, just when you send it in the subject line, put fall. If you just put fall or autumn, I'll know they're for that video. If you want to send me other things, that's fine too. I'll show them a little later in the fall, because I have a plan to show a video of other things you are making later in the summer. And I might as well tell you now, I've had some of my viewers tell me of other things they make. I know some of you are knitters, of course. I know some of you are cross stitchers. You said so when I showed my cross stitch. I'll mention some of the other things I do a little later. I know some of you quilt and do macrame and other, but I had somebody just this past week tell me that she does metalwork. She does sculpture in metalwork and fashioned roses. And I was thinking, I think a lot of my followers have some very special talents that I wouldn't even think about. So I'm going to ask all of you out there to please send me pictures of anything, any craft you do other than crochet. So put crafts in the title. And I think maybe at the very end of August, just maybe right around Labor Day, the week before or after, probably before, because September is a special month. But I thought that gives us, 6 weeks. I'm sure you've all done something that you have some pictures of. It's not like you got to get it done now. So if you have done anything, plastic canvas, stained glass, like I said, metalwork, woodwork, anything, any craft at all that you do enjoy doing as a hobby, please send me a picture. And I'm going to do another episode at the end of August with all the things you do, any kind of craft or handwork that my followers do. I'm sure there are many that I can't even think of to say. Um, so when you send it, if you would just tell me what it is in case I don't know. And I don't know if you can tell me a pattern in most cases or not, and the materials you used. Something, give me just a little bit of information about it, okay? And maybe where you live. I knew all the ones that I showed you today. I knew where every one of them lived. I didn't say, but like I've said before, where some of these people live. So knowing where you're from, that'd be nice too. Okay, so that's what all of my followers have been crocheting lately. I think all of that is fairly current work from my followers. So we had lots of pictures of finished items. So I have no real finished items to show you this week. But I do have a couple of updates on things that I will tell you about. The first is, if you recall, this sparkly yarn that I got from Ravenswood Fiber Company, and she is in New Brunswick. She's on the East Coast. And I got this a few weeks ago and said I liked it so much and I didn't know whether to get more. And you all encouraged me to get more. So I haven't opened them, but I did get more so that I have for sure a sweater quantity. And in fact, she only had a limited number. I bought them all to make sure I'd had enough. If I have too much, it's fine. It's a beautiful color and I'll make a scarf. So I did buy the rest of this to make something later. And I have one yarn company I'm going to show you yarn from today. And I'm going to start with, I just got to move it forward, so excuse me for a second here. I saw this yarn, this particular yarn, on Blue Eyed Style. Candy was showing this whirligig that she got from, I'm pretty sure the store is called A Twist of Yarn. They are in Vernon, BC. I think, I'm only guessing, but I think that this is a local yarn shop to Candy. And she showed these whirligigs. I'll give you the specs and then I'll say more. It is 60% superwash merino wool, 20% nylon, and 20% acrylic. Has 200 grams, 546 yards, or 500 meters. And it can be machine washed and tumble dried. And it is from Cascade. Personally, I wouldn't machine wash, hand wash anything like this. But she had, I think, 3 different ones that I absolutely loved the color of. And she said it was soft, and she's right. Does it ever feel nice? So this was one color she showed I just had to have, and luckily they still had it. But the other 2 colors she showed that I liked, they were out of stock. But I did get another one. I did get this, and I got 2 cakes of each of them, and 2 cakes is enough for me to make one of my cocoon cardigans. So definitely a cocoon cardigan out of this color. The other color likely will be a cocoon cardigan, but I might make a ruana. Haven't quite decided yet. Or one of those ponchos that's two squares or rectangles joined here, and then put a cowl in it. And I'm not sure. I haven't decided on the second one. Of course, I got to find time to do these things, right? But also while I was there, I went searching and I found hand-dyed yarn. And I don't know if they hand dye it, the people that have the store, or whether they get it from somebody in the area. It doesn't have any kind of name on it. This first group is, I'm going to leave it in the package, is called Blue Topaz. Oh, okay. So I won't get it out, but I will get out their paper. Now I answered my own question. It is dyed by a company called Color Adventures. And there's their website, coloradventures.com. This particular yarn, it's a fingering, and it is 70% merino, 20% cashmere, and 10% nylon. Yeah, it feels really nice. But anyway, there's the colors. It's a gradient package. Isn't that pretty? So I'm going to make something like maybe an asymmetrical scarf. I only have in total 500 yards. If it were an open pattern, I could make a shawl. I like to have, you know, like 700 to 800 at least for a shawl. But anyway, that's one package I got from them. And then I got a second one, same company. This time, oh, this has got cashmere too. I didn't realize I'd bought cashmere, but I'm glad I did, because I love cashmere. And it does feel nice. So here is the color in this one. It's called Okanagan Ice Wine. Okanagan Ice Wine. And you can see why I got that. I love those colors too. So I'm going to try and find some kind of pattern that's a little bit open that I could make a shawl or a shawlette, so then I could wear it around my neck, because I really do like those colors. And we just have a problem that won't open. Oh well. So that's the yarn acquisition I want to show you this week. I have others, I think, from about 3 or 4 other companies, but I'll save them for another week. I wanted to show you what I am currently working on. First of all, you know that I said last week I thought I'd be working on this tester pattern. Oh, that's another thing I need to tell you. I did get accepted. I did spend a day and a half trying to meet Gage. I finally met Gage, had to go down a whole size in the hook, so that I ended up with a 2.75 hook, which is really small for my hands. I got big hands. And then I started the pattern, and I only did 2 or 3 rows, and already it was measuring. Well, it started out 2 inches too wide at the beginning, and by the time I got the 3rd row done, it was 4 inches too wide, and heaven forbid when I block it, it'd be at least 6 inches too wide. And I said to them, I just not going to be able to do this to your specifications, so I pulled out of it. And instead, I started making a shawl with this Stenley yarn. Once you use the middle, it gets bigger and bigger, and it starts to collapse. But you see, it's a Stenley merino cake. I'll show you a better picture next week, because I should be done this next week. I can't even show you all the colors because I use some of the colors, but I am working on a shawl. I'm not going to show you anymore until it's finished. It's a bit of a surprise. So I am working on that, and when I get finished that, I intend to use this yarn that I got a couple years ago now from Hobium. It's Lamia. They carry a lot of Lamia Angora, and I like this color. I have a lot of leggings that would go with it. I'm going to make a top. um, I don't think I have 2, 4, 6, 7 balls. There should be an eighth somewhere. I don't know where it is, but 7 balls of 125 meters. This is not enough to make a sweater, but it should make a top, a sleeveless top for the summer. And it is extremely soft. Well, it's Angora. So I'm going to make myself work on this top that I've been putting off for a couple of years. And I think I know the pattern I'm going to use for that. So those are the things I'm going to be working on. Now, I was talking about tester pattern. You remember a while back that I did a tester pattern for someone who did a design for a magazine, and the magazine was supposed to come out in March, and it never did, and it never did. And I finally called her and said, I'm going to take this shawl to the craft show in June. And she said, fine, go ahead. Well, I got an email this week, and the magazine has been released. So I'm going to put a picture in here, and this is a picture of the magazine cover with some really cute amigurumis in it. The magazine is about, I think I recall, 88 pages in length, and it's got some cute things in it. And I don't know if I have a picture to show her shawl. You can see it on the magazine cover. It's a pink shawl in the upper right corner. But here is the picture of my shawl, which you've already seen. I showed it to you in June with their comments below that I was the tester. So finally, it's out there, and I don't know how. I'm going to see if there's a way I can put a link to the magazine. I hope I can. I'm not really sure how that works. So finally, it's out 4 months later than they said. All right, a couple of other things I want to talk about. Last week, I asked you what you thought of the idea of my doing mystery boxes, and it seemed like a number of you thought that was a good idea. I had a comment from a relative that said, yeah, that'd be a good idea to make room for all that yarn you're buying, Judy. So I did go through one section of my yarn, and I came out with quite a bit. I have some that is mostly cotton and acrylic. I have a few acrylics, and I can put some separate boxes that have no wool in them. If that is preferred by any viewer, please tell me. And I have lots that are acrylic wool blends. I've got some wool Angora. And I will try to put hand-dyed yarn in it as well. I haven't put them together yet. I'm hoping to have time to put them together in, groups for boxes. And I got to find some boxes. I'll try to have that for next week. So we'll talk about what will happen with that in next week's show. And finally, just hang on a second here. Next week, hopefully, I will have one, if not two, finished items to show you. I definitely will have more yarn to show you. But what I have decided is for the summer, because I looked for something to put on before I did this video, and quite honestly, even the neck scarves too warm. It's summer, and I don't think I'm going to be wearing anything to show you. So I can't do the what am I wearing. Hope will be able to do what I'm wearing. I'm hoping I can tell you about this within a week or two. But if not, I'll put my finished products on Hope. But I'm not going to be wearing any finished crochet. So I've decided to do something just a teeny bit different for the summer. I can still do what am I wearing, but if you notice, what am I wearing? I'm wearing a necklace and earrings. These match. I don't always have matching earrings, but this is glass. It's glass that I have cut, much like stained glass is cut, and then I have fired it in a kiln. And it gets fired up to something like 1600 degrees Fahrenheit. And it melts, basically melts the glass, and it has something called dichroic glass in it that has a sparkle. Now, you don't get the idea of the sparkle here, but if you saw this out under the sunlight, it just sparkles away. Well, at one time, I was into making and selling glass jewelry, and I have a huge wardrobe of glass jewelry. So for the remainder of the summer, I'm going to be wearing something I have made in glass, not always earrings, but for sure I will have a pendant, and I will give you an up close look at it. This is the only one that I had that kind of matched the color I'm wearing today. You can imagine I have lots of blues and purples. And I might even do one episode where I do a whole sort of slideshow of some of the jewelry I have made. I have some beautiful jewelry, and I used to do craft shows with that, but I was doing it with a friend who has passed away, and I kind of lost. And we used to do classes and show people how to make it. But now I have all kinds of supplies and tons of things I have made. And I'm thinking that, you know, sometimes as a prize on my channel, I might put in a pendant. So we'll see. Tell me what you think, if you like it, and if you'd like to see more. So that's going to be what I am wearing. So for next week, I'll be wearing a pendant. I will, I'm sure, have this shawl done. It's a very big one, taking me time, and I will have started, if not finished, the top out of the Angora. So, and I have lots of yarn to show you as well. So I hope to see you again next week. In the meantime, I hope that you have given me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already subscribed, and leave a comment below. And in the meantime, until next week, happy hooking.